All right, let's cut right to the chase. Look, just because you've got a few more miles on the odometer and maybe your joints sound like a rusty gate hinge in the morning, that absolutely does not mean you're out of the fight. Fact is, this stage of your life might just be your tactical advantage if you've got the right wheel gun in your hand. Now, I've spent thousands of hours on the line. I know exactly what shooters are up against as they get older. You're dealing with triggers that feel like you're pulling a boat anchor, slides that fight you back harder than a stuck case. And recoil, man. One bad string of fire and you're feeling it in your wrists for a week. That's why today, we're cutting all the hype. We're focusing on the top 8 revolvers that are perfectly suited for senior gun owners. Whether you're 60 and still splitting cards, or maybe you're pushing 85 and just want something safe, reliable, and dead simple by the bed, this list is for you. And if you're shopping for a parent or a grandparent, someone who just needs a tool that's trustworthy and easy to run, you are in the exact right place. I've spent years carrying these, testing them, and yeah, sometimes cussing them out on the range. But these 8? These are the ones that made the cut. They are the real deal. Let's dig in, starting at number 8. Number 8 and 7. The Diamondback SDR and the Smith & Wesson Performance Center. 442. Now look, I'm going to be straight with you. When most guys hear Diamondback, they're thinking about those little budget 9mm. But this Diamondback SDR, it really surprised me. It's like that quiet guy at the range who shows up, doesn't say much, and then just stacks rounds in the 10 ring. No, it's not some flashy barbecue gun you're going to show off. It's that reliable tool that just works. It shows up, clocks in, and gets the job done. It's chambered in .357 Magnum. But here's the pro tip. If your hands and wrists have seen better days, just run .38 Special through it all day long. It'll handle it just fine. The cushioned rubber grips on this thing, they just soak up recoil. And the sights are way better than you'd expect on a wheel gun at this price point. But what really got me was the trigger. It's smooth, it's light, and it's far and away better than what I thought I'd get for the money. It weighs in just under 24 ounces. That's enough steel to soak up that recoil, but not so much that it's going to pull your pants down. For a revolver that, frankly, looks like it belongs in a rental case, this thing flat out performs. Now let's talk about the Smith & Wesson Performance Center 442. This is a completely different animal. This little J-frame is a featherweight right around 15 ounces. It completely disappears in a pocket until the moment you need it. But when you press that trigger, it barks with authority. It's a J-frame, it's hammerless double action only, and it's been tuned by the Performance Center. That means all the internals are slicked up and the carry profile is snag-free, smooth as glass. Now sure, it's going to buck a little more with that ultra-lightweight frame. But if you're running standard pressure .38 specials, most senior shooters are going to find it's very manageable. So, why did I group these two together? Because one gives you a rugged, no-nonsense, practical option at a great price, and the other delivers that refined, lightweight, custom-shop craftsmanship. But they both share the exact same mission: easy, snag-free, low-maintenance defensive tools for folks who value simplicity over all the latest gimmicks. At the end of the day, the best gun is the one you can actually run effectively. And these two, they deliver. Number 6. The Taurus 856 and the 605. Alright, let's just get this out of the way right now. For years, Taurus had a, let's just call it a spotty reputation. A lot of serious shooters, myself included, kinda looked at him as the cheap option, the Saturday night special of the modern era. But the new, modern Taurus revolvers, especially the 856 and the 605, are a whole different ballgame. The 856 that gives you 6 rounds of .38 special. The 605 that bumps you up to .357 Magnum. But here's my advice, and I give this to everyone who comes to my range. Stick with the .38s for defense. They are so much easier on your hands. You're going to get faster follow-up shots, and they still have plenty of punch to end a threat. What really makes these work for senior shooters is the grip. Taurus puts these soft, contoured rubber grips on them. They stay planted, even if your hands get sweaty, and they're not going to tear up your palm after 50 rounds at the range. The trigger pull is surprisingly good. It's not a performance center trigger, let's be real. But it's way better than the price tag would have you believe. And speaking of price, this is where Taurus just wins. For under $400, you're getting a solid, steel-frame, straightforward revolver. It's easy to shoot, it's easy to clean, and it's perfectly practical for carry or for home defense. Are they as refined as a Kimber? Nope. Do they need to be? Absolutely not. These are workhorse guns. These are blue-collar wheel guns. They're not fancy, they're not flashy, but they are ready to go when you need them. And when your safety, or the safety of your family, is on the line, that is what matters. For seniors who want reliable firepower without having to liquidate their savings, Taurus has finally earned its spot at the table. Number 5. The Smith & Wesson Model 36 Man. This one takes me back. Let me tell you a story. My old man, he always kept a Smith & Wesson Model 36 tucked right in the glove box of his 1979 Chevy. It was right there next to an old Johnny Cash tape and a pack of gum. This little Chief's special, it's not just another snub nose. It is a genuine piece of American firearms history. But do not mistake that nostalgia for weakness. This revolver was never built to be a safe queen. The Model 36. It remains one of the most practical and senior-friendly carry guns ever designed. It's that classic J-frame, short barrel, 5-round cylinder chambered in .38 Special, and it has a reputation for dependability that's as steady as the sunrise. It weighs just under 20 ounces, which is the sweet spot. It balances perfectly between being light enough to carry all day, but still having enough heft to soak up that recoil, especially with standard pressure loads. What really makes it perfect, particularly for older shooters, is the simplicity. No nonsense. Depending on the variant, you might get wood grips, you might get rubber. But either way, it fits smaller hands like it was made for them. The double action pull, it's not match-grade silky, but it is reliable every single time. And that single action break, it's crisp enough to cut a playing card in half. You're not going to find rails or ports or fancy pants finishes here. What you get is a revolver that's been trusted since Ike was in the White House, and it still proves itself in 2025. This isn't the kind of gun you trade in. This is the one you pass down. For almost 70 years, cops, private eyes, and just regular folks have staked their lives on it. Old school does not mean outdated. It means proven. Number 4. The Ruger SP-101. You know that quiet guy in the corner of the room? He doesn't brag, he's not dressed flashy, but for some reason everyone in that room respects him. That is the Ruger SP-101. Now, let's be totally honest. This wheel gun, it's a bit of a brick for a senior-friendly list. It's coming in around 25, maybe 27 ounces, depending on the model. You are definitely going to know this is on your belt. But here's the secret, that extra heft that is its superpower. The SP-101 is built like a well, like a miniature tank. It's solid stainless steel. It's got beefy internals and a grip that's designed to lock your hand onto that frame. For shooters who struggle with recoil, this is where this gun shines. You touch off a .38 Special and it feels like a push, not a snap. Even a full-house .357 Magnum is manageable, though your arthritis might still have a word or two to say about it. The trigger, it's a bit stiff, right out of the box. That's a Ruger trademark. But after a few hundred rounds or a simple spring swap, it smooths out beautifully. Even for hands that just don't have that death grip anymore. The sights are simple. They're fixed. And they are perfectly regulated for defensive distances. No fiber optics, no lasers. Just good, old-fashioned iron sights that get the job done. It doesn't hide as easy as a Smith J-frame or a Ruger LCR. But that's not what it's for. The SP-101 isn't a fashion accessory, it is a lifesaver. This revolver is built for people who actually plan to shoot their gun. Not just carry something light and pray they never have to use it. For nightstand duty, a truck gun, or just enjoying time on the range, this stainless steel workhorse has earned its place. Number 3. The Colt King Cobra Carry DAO. If you're looking for a revolver that has that old-school Colt backbone, but it's mixed with a sharp, modern tactical edge, meet the Colt King Cobra Carry DAO. This gun doesn't just ask for your respect, it demands it. Colt came roaring back into the double-action revolver game with this thing, and man, they nailed it. It's hammerless. It is double action only, and that trigger pull is smoother than top-shelf bourbon. At about 25 ounces, it's got enough mass to keep that recoil under control. But it's still light enough for comfortable, all-day carry, and it's got a 6-round cylinder. That is a huge deal in the snub-nose world. That's one more round than the typical 5. And let me tell you from experience sometimes that one single round is all the difference in the world. The trigger, it has some deliberate weight to it, but it's clean, it's consistent. It's exactly what you want when your adrenaline is pumping and all your fine motor skills have just checked out. There's no single action option. There are no tricks. You just point, you pull, and you let the king do its job. The grip on this thing, it fills the hand way better than most compacts. It's got a soft, hogue grip that helps tame even the hotter loads. Older shooters or folks who have weaker grip strength are gonna love how controllable this thing stays, even with plus P or some of those lighter Magnum rounds. Yeah, it costs more than your average snubby, but you're not paying for average. You're paying for Colt heritage, you're paying for performance, and you're paying for pure street-level credibility. Honestly, if I had to just toss one revolver in a drawer, leave it there for 10 years, and trust that it would still be ready to go when I needed it. This is the one I'd pick. The King Cobra Carry DAO. It isn't flashy, it is formidable. Number 2. The Kimber K6s and the K6s. Alright, let's shift gears from those rugged, brawling workhorses to something a lot more refined. Look, if your average snub-nose wheel gun is like a beat-up old farm truck, then the Kimber K6 line is like a perfectly restored 1960s Cadillac. It's polished, it's classy, but it is still packing a whole lot of muscle under the hood. For the longest time, Kimber was not a revolver company. But when they finally stepped into the ring, they didn't just copy an old J-frame design. They reimagined the entire platform. The K6s is a 6-round pocket rocket chambered in .357 Magnum, and it has the kind of sleek lines and flawless finish that just stands out in a crowded gun counter, especially for a gun that's sitting right around that $1,000 mark. But the real magic is that double-action-only trigger. It is easily one of the smoothest, most consistent factory trigger pulls you will ever find. There's no stacking. There's no hard wall. It's just a clean, smooth sweep, straight through to ignition. For older shooters, or anyone who appreciates a refined trigger, that alone makes this gun a top contender. The grip is another huge win. It's shaped in a way that actually respects the human hand. It's almost like Kimber actually talked to a few old-timers before they designed it. And if the all-steel K6s feels a little too heavy for you, the K6s trims things down with an alloy frame. It weighs just under 16 ounces and it's chambered only in .38 Special. That makes it a fantastic option for folks who want that same 6-round capacity and that same slick trigger, but without any of that Magnum-level recoil. Sure, it looks a little flashy. Some guys on the forums, they call it the snob snub. But let's be honest, if carrying a revolver that looks like it belongs in a James Bond movie is wrong, I'm really not interested in being right. Kimber proved with the K6 series that function and style can live in the exact same frame. And believe me, this revolver, it doesn't just draw attention, it puts shots exactly where you want them to go. Number 1. The Ruger LCR and the Smith & Wesson J-frame. And now we're at the top of the list. The best of the best. First up is the Ruger LCR. This is a featherweight little monster that frankly doesn't care how it looks because it performs like a world-class champion. At first glance, yeah, it kinda looks like a prop from a sci-fi movie. It's got that polymer frame, all those rounded edges, those space-age cuts in the cylinder. But the second you put your finger on that trigger and press it, none of that styling matters. You immediately realize Ruger built this thing to run. The double-action trigger is unbelievably smooth, and it's consistent. It's light enough that even someone with reduced grip strength can manage it comfortably and safely. Depending on the chambering, this thing tips the scale at about 13 to 17 ounces. That puts it firmly in all-day, everyday pocket carry territory. You can get it in everything from .22 long rifle all the way up to .357 Magnum. But for senior hands, my strong recommendation is to stick with the .38 Special or the excellent .327 Federal Magnum, which gives you more capacity with less snap. The recoil is surprisingly tame for a gun this light. That's thanks to some really smart grip design and well-balanced geometry. The bottom line is this. The LCR is one of those rare wheel guns that feels like it was specifically built for folks who don't want to fight their firearm. It's easy to carry, it's easy to shoot, and it is dead simple to trust. And then we reach the undisputed king of the hill, the Smith & Wesson J-frame. If you have ever walked into a gun shop in your life, odds are you have put your hands on one of these legendary snubbies. Whether it's the Model 642, the 442, or the new 432 Ultimate Carry, this family of 5-shot revolvers has set the standard for decades. They come hammerless or with bobbed hammers. They all run in a simple, double-action-only fashion with zero nonsense attached. So why does it take the number 1 slot? Because it works for everyone, but especially for older shooters who just need something light, dependable, and uncomplicated. Most of them sit right around 15 or 16 ounces with that airweight frame. That makes them an absolute dream to carry. Yes, they can be a little snappy. That's the trade-off for being light. But you load them with standard pressure 38 Special, or in the case of that 432, the 32 H&R Magnum. And the recoil is more than manageable. The triggers are predictable, and after you run a few boxes of ammo through them, they wear in like a favorite pair of leather boots. The newer, redesigned grips, especially on that 432 Ultimate Carry, do a fantastic job of taming recoil and giving even tired hands a confident, solid hold. You can ask any seasoned firearms trainer, any retired cop, any veteran gunwriter, and you are going to hear the exact same story. If you need a revolver that is light, that is safe, and that is dead simple, the J-frame is the gold standard. No frills, no drama, just a timeless defensive tool that delivers when it matters most. Look, getting older doesn't mean you stop fighting. It just means you have to fight smarter. And that means choosing the right tool for the job. Picking a firearm that works with you, not one that fights against you. Every single revolver on this list has its own unique strengths, and any one of them can faithfully serve a senior shooter who refuses to be a victim and who refuses to compromise on their own personal defense. Whether you're buying for yourself, your father, or that tough-as-nails grandma who still keeps a 38 Special ready to go, these handguns are built to protect, and they are built to endure. So if you got some value out of this breakdown, do me a favor. Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. Drop a comment down below and let me know which revolver you trust your life to. As always, stay safe, stay trained, and I'll see you on the next one.